Tapioca pudding is a textural fusion of creaminess and chewy tapioca pearls. The recipe is at least a century old, and there are conflicting theories about when and where it was invented, Britain or the United States. With its distinctive chewiness, it brings something entirely different to the table. Today, factories whip up tapioca pudding in big batches. Times have changed, but the appetite for this pearly pudding hasn't waned. The proof is truly in the pudding. The tapioca pearls, of course, define this dish. The opaque little balls are processed from a vegetable grown in South America called cassava root. The recipe also calls for more traditional baking ingredients, like whole milk, eggs, sugar, and vanilla. They pipe the whole milk into a giant mixing kettle. This kettle has steam-heated steel walls to gently cook the ingredients while blending them. As the milk froths, the cook measures the tapioca pearls. The pearls arrive at the factory already processed, formed by grinding the root vegetable into powder and tumbling it to shape it into properly sized pearls. As the pearls cook in the milk, they'll soften and swell to double the size, just like rice. But unlike rice, they'll take on an almost jelly-like, chewy consistency. He adds sugar to sweeten the mix. The cook then leaves the swirling and foaming mix to cook for over an hour. Meanwhile, at another station, they add tapioca starch to a different blender full of milk. This blender is unheated and has a higher speed for mixing that's fast and furious. He adds eggs, and he flavors the mix with salt. The tapioca starch acts as a thickening agent for this separate mix, as the blender whips it to a frothy state. They transfer the starch blend to the main mixing kettle. The cook adds a natural food coloring to make the pudding beige, along with some vanilla flavoring. The tapioca pearls are just the right consistency. This pudding is now fully cooked and ready to move on to the filling line. They pump it while it's still steaming hot into single-serve plastic cups. Packaging the pudding while it's still hot is an act of food preservation, which, not surprisingly, is called hot fill. The hot fill technique locks in nutrients and ensures freshness, giving the product a shelf life of about 70 days. Suctioning arms swiftly transfer foil lids to cover the cups, giving the pudding no time to cool down. With the lids in place, the filler moves the cups forward to meet up with heat sealer heads. They fuse the foil lids to the plastic cup rims. It's taken just seconds to fill these cups with hot tapioca pudding and seal them, effectively preserving them. The pudding-filled cups now funnel into a lane to position them single file. Then they travel between rubber belts that squeeze them. If they can take the pressure, it confirms that the cups are tightly sealed. A printer sprays the expiry date and other pertinent information onto the cup. After weighing to confirm there's enough pudding inside, an X-ray machine scans the contents to confirm that there are no contaminants. Then they're on their way to the chilling line. Inside the tubs, the tapioca pudding is still hot and fluid. The cups ride a system of spiraling refrigerated conveyors, bringing the pudding's temperature down to about 4 degrees Celsius and thickening it substantially. The pudding-filled containers now pass through gates that separate them into 2 lanes and then arrange them in groups of 3. Machinery places one group of 3 onto another, and then all that's left is the packaging. Mechanical arms place the paperboard sleeve on the top 3 cups. Traveling through a narrow lane, guides fold the paperboard down around the bottom 3 cups as a sprayer applies hot glue to the flaps. A worker pulls off 1 pack of 6 and sends it over to a panel of testers for an inspection and taste. They examine the pudding for color and consistency. They also taste a little from each production batch to confirm that it's sweet enough, that the tapioca beads are the desired texture, and that it meets all other quality requirements. If they like what they taste, the entire batch is declared ready for retail. 3 hours in the making, this tapioca pudding is now ready to add a little sweetness to someone's day.